Yeah, you might need to accept.
I think we're good. Oh,
Got it. Let's see if it pops up here on my Facebook. All right, I think. Let me get this open here. We are cool. All right, we're live.
we're live.
Awesome.
Hi, Abby.
Hey, Kim. So, just a little intro. Kim is actually a client of mine. We've been working together. How long do you think?
At least 6 months.
6 months. But you're also a fellow coach in the industry. So, do you want to do like a short intro of you, who you are, what you do, and then we'll get rolling on this topic because it's super important.
Sure. Yeah. So Kim Metzger. I run a online studio called Fitness in Real Life, and I've been a personal trainer for about 5 years. So I was a late bloomer, starting at 45. And but before that, I was actually a holistic health coach and ran a company called Empowered Health, where I worked with a lot of cancer patients. Actually, at that time, more than anything, I had cancer at 40, so kind of those people gravitated towards me. And I wasn't able to help them with fitness, and I hadn't worked out since high school, which was a few years ago. So
Right.
yeah, I started looking into fitness and exercise to help them. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. This is the greatest thing ever. And here I am 7, 8 years later, still loving it and trying to help women gain their strength. I do a lot with just teaching how to lift and lose body fat and build muscle.
Yep. No, you have an awesome story. So I always enjoy our conversations, and you just reaching out to me, even just from a business perspective, to help other, your clients. So that's what our industry should be about.
Yeah, collaboration. We're all working together.
It's collaboration, goal, right? and not competition. And I always want to try to be one of the good guys in the industry, and you are definitely that as well. So this is why we need to get together. We need to we need to put out that message and really try to help people and prevent them from what we are going to talk about today. Which is fad diets, supplements, programs that are just downright dangerous, stupid, and are not helping anyone. The intention of the fitness industry is a billions and billions of dollar industry, but yet obesity isn't. We're not overcoming these things. We're not overcoming obesity. We're not overcoming people with health issues. We're not overcoming any of this. So what is the deal here? What's the deal? And we decided to talk about this topic because, Kim, you came to me the other day and reached out about a client that was going to come on board with you. So why don't you tell the story about what you reached out and said to me?
Yeah, so I have this great client, and been working with her for, I don't even know, maybe 4 or 5 months now. And when she started working with me, she was doing Weight Watchers to start with. So I really wasn't as involved with her nutrition as I would have liked to have been. But we've just been doing strength training together via Zoom. And her, she lost a lot of weight and kind of plateaued. And I totally respect what she did in the moment. She got a little frustrated. She hit a plateau, and she signed up for a program and told me about it after she signed up. And I hadn't heard of it. I'm not going to necessarily name the program, but I looked into it and immediately, had to really be her coach and advocate for her, because it was a terrible, dangerous program. And I was pretty shocked, actually, when I saw it. And I reached out to you because I said, did you ever hear of this program? And like, what do I do? How do I address this? Because, I never want to make a client feel like they've done something wrong, or that they've done something dumb or something, even though we've all done that. Just wanted to educate her on the dangers of these and the deception of this type of a program.
Yeah, can you just go into a little bit about what this program, you don't have to name the name. I mean, sure. Sometimes I feel like we should, but just say, talk about what this program was having her do.
Yeah, so I will. So it had something called, the one that she went with, it was 5 refuelings a day. And then you could make a sensible meal, which was a protein and a green. It took away, they didn't want to call it keto. but that's exactly what it was. When I looked into it, it was very low carb, definitely like under 100 grams of carbs a day. She was telling me, I can't even have Brussels sprouts because they contain sugar. And the reason we know they have sugar is they caramelize when you cook them. And so they stripped away even healthy foods like Brussels sprouts. And all 5 refuelings were packaged bars. And I don't even know what the other things were. All isolated soy protein and a bunch of vitamins and chemicals. And I also knew for her, she's such a clean eater. And I said, this is not only is this just a terrible program, because each refueling was 100 calories. So 500 calories throughout the day, and then a protein and a green at night. And
500 calories a day she was allowed.
Yeah. So she was at 1,100 calories or less. And she, after doing her BMR and her TDE, she needs to be no less than 1,600 calories to be safe.
Yeah.
So that's way off, 500 calories off. And I said, well, you're definitely going to lose weight. You're going to lose muscle mass.
There's a lot of muscle mass and water, and that scale's going to go down though. Like by all means.
In addition, they weren't allowed to work out. Okay. And that was the big red flag for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I looked into it, and I couldn't understand why you can eat a lot of protein and fat, but not work out, because isn't that the big thing with keto and paleo? That tends to go hand in hand with lifting and CrossFit and all those things. Mm-hmm. So why can't we not work out? So I said, the reason I don't want you to work out is probably twofold. One, you are not getting enough calories, you'll probably pass out. And 2, it makes them look better as a company if you can say, I didn't do any exercise. All I did was your program, and I lost 5 pounds a week.
And I didn't even have to exercise.
Well, didn't even have to exercise.
Yeah. Here's for anybody out there. Like, we don't use exercise and training as a weight loss tool. Like we use exercise. That's an area to improve your strength. That's an area to improve your body. That's an area to improve, mental, like to keep injury free, to stay mobile. That's what we use exercise training for. And your mind, like if a program is telling you not to exercise, run far away from it. Because we need to exercise. We need to be, and that doesn't mean you have to go be a power lifter like me, or you have to do these crazy things, but we need to, as human beings and good for our heart health, our bodies, and to live a functional life for however many years you want, we have to be doing some type of exercise.
Right.
So that's red flag number 1. If it's telling you not to exercise,
don't exercise, only eat their food, and then a protein and a green, and you're going to see these miracles, know, and I couldn't believe the price on top of it. So it's like $400 and something a month on top of it.
And that's the interesting thing too, is people will, come to us and we will tell them the prices of our coaching program or whatever, which isn't even near what that is.
Right.
And they think that's too expensive, but they don't have any problem spending money on supplements and these diets and these juice cleanses and other crap. And that they're going to have to be, that they're buying for months on end, waiting for this quick result that never happens, when it's like, go to a quality coaching program or a coach that can really teach you what it takes to have long-term results, and you're going to save yourself a hell of a lot of money.
Yes. I was lucky. I got her to cancel it, get her money back, and work with me instead, and just be much more healthy about it. Yeah.
So, like I said, we don't need to. I mean, we could call out some names. There's several of them in there.
So many.
I've had a couple clients recently that sort of came to me with the same issues. Is they were in these programs that were like telling them to eat 500 and 600 calories a day, and it's like, here's these shakes, here's these supplements, and that you, oh, by the way, buy them from me.
Yeah.
You need my supplements.
Right. That's always a red flag.
That's always a red flag.
Yep.
I'm not against supplements. People think it's there. I've had people like, I know you're against supplements. No, I'm not. I'm not against supplements, but I'm against companies lying to you, telling you you have to have these supplements to have progress.
Right.
Because you don't. I'm all for using a protein powder if it's more convenient and you have trouble getting protein in. I'm all for multivitamins and fish oil and supplements that are going to benefit somebody.
Yes.
But I supplement myself, but people are too quick to put the supplements ahead of everything else. And I did an article a few years back in regards to fat loss supplements specifically. And I'm guilty as anybody. When I was in my early 20s, I took the hydroxycut. I took the, all this BS that.
Chromium.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Chromium
exactly.
was the big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely not innocent in this game, but then I learned over time and I got some good coaching, and it's like I never had to worry about any of that stuff again because I learned the right way to do things. But I talked about supplements as, if you don't have your foundations in place, it does not matter. Those supplements are only there to potentially, help what you're already doing. So like, I equated it to if you go out into like the freezing cold naked with a stocking hat on. The stocking hat represents a supplement. Okay. The winter coat, the pants, the boots represent your foundation. Without that foundation, that stocking hat doesn't do shit.
Right.
With your winter coat, with your hat, with your winter coat, with your pants, everything, that hat does create a little bit of more warmth.
Yeah.
But you have to have the foundations.
Yeah.
So that's what I equated. A lot of these people think supplements is their magic trick when it's like, if you just would do the foundational stuff consistently, that's.
But a lot of times the foundational stuff is hard.
The foundational stuff is hard.
In society, we're a microwave society, right? So we want that.
It's not sexy.
I'm going to eat my junk food and balance it with my pill.
So it's like, I'm not against supplements. I take supplements myself, like supplements that supplement what I'm already doing, or supplements because I've done research and and they do a specific purpose. So I just want to clarify what we're talking about today is strictly like fat loss. So because I know we're gonna have people probably in the comments like roasting us that they're on keto for medical reasons and like whatever. We are not talking about medical conditions.
That's right.
So let's, it's like chill out. If you're on a specific plan because you have a medical issue that requires you to be on that plan, we are not talking about that. We are talking about people doing these dumb programs, and you're not dumb for doing them. I don't want you to think that people, this is what we're trying to do, is to get you to not do those things. But people do, we're talking about fat loss specific, and people thinking that this is the magic fix. This is going to be my fat loss end all be all. I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 5 hours. Like
keep it off forever.
And keep it off forever, by the way. So these programs are setting you up for failure from the start.
Right.
So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, so much to say about it, but yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. From a medical standpoint, completely different story, but from fat loss, when you're going on these drastic diets, where you're cutting your calories below what's safe for you, you're going to damage your metabolism. I even worry too about just creating disordered eating for people when they do things like that. Just the frustration of then going off of the diet, which you're going to have to do eventually, unless you're a millionaire, right? Eventually, you just not want to spend $300, $400, $500 a month. You're going to get sick of the food. You're going to get sick of the prepackaged. As my client told me, she said she was glad to go off of it in 2 days because it tasted terrible. It made her feel sick right away because she's so used to eating well. So you're just setting yourself psychologically up for this cycle of frustration where I'm going to try this. It's going to work for a while. I'm going to get sick of it. I'm going to go off of it. Maybe I've lost weight and I'm going to gain it back. Then I'm going to try something else, and just keep that up and down yo-yo dieting, which we know damages our metabolism.
It definitely, lowers. When you slash your calories that low, your metabolic rate will drop to kind of meet where what you're doing. And so if you're dropping your calories that low, that's why it's important to be in a very, very small calorie deficit. Like, if your calorie deficit is 1,500 calories, why would you drop to 600?
Right.
I mean, people I think people just need to question things a little bit more. Like, is what I'm hearing on the other side of this, does this sound good to be true, too good to be true? It probably is. And I mean, how long can you actually sustain being on 600 calories? How long can you actually sustain, buying all these supplements from said company? How long can you sustain just eating bars and packaged, whatever, what companies, whatever, like
Right.
when the real quick fix is the foundational habits, and people, it's not sexy. I get it. It's a lot more sexy for a program to tell you that you're going to lose, like I said, 20 pounds in 5 hours or whatever. And you will see pretty quick progress, but it's not really progress. It's masked progress
Right.
that you're seeing your body weight, your weight on the scale drop very dramatically, because now you're putting yourself in a massive calorie deficit.
Yep.
You're losing a bunch of water weight.
Yep.
Muscle mass starts to come off, which is
metabolize. Yep.
Which is something that when we're dieting or in a calorie deficit, we want to hang on to as much of that as we can.
Yeah.
So metabolism stays high. So the results on the scale aren't actually good results that you're getting. And time and time again, and I'm not going to pick on any specific diet, but people will gain all their weight back, once they start eating again.
Right.
And then they're like, well, this XYZ worked for me, so I'm going to go do that again. Listen, it doesn't fucking work for you if you're gaining your weight back.
Right. The second
you were not able to sustain whatever said diet, said program,
Yep.
Juice cleanse, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Yeah. And the companies, as I explained to my clients who do this, I said, the companies don't care. They're not personalizing it to you. So they don't really care what is safe for you, what's healthy for you. All they care about is a testimonial from you or your money.
Yeah.
So you see these celebrities, and a lot of times they go, that's it too. They see the celebrities. I just always think, what if a celebrity got up there and said, it took me 3 years to work my ass off to look like this? Like, I think they should come out and be honest about it. They didn't look like that overnight. And then there was some little lipo and, see the six pack.
Well, I see this a lot with like Instagram influencers selling the skinny teas and bullshit. Like, they're not taking that. No. None of them are taking that. Or just like, I saw a quote the other day, like, this kind of is in regards to like workouts, is like, influencer spends 1 hour doing a few moves for Instagram and then goes and does their actual boring workout.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, so don't, like I said, you have to really think about what you're getting into. And I think one of the first questions you need to ask yourself is this really a sustainable lifestyle for me?
Right.
Is one of the first things that you need to think about before jumping into a program or buying said supplement that promises you, or doing a specific diet for fat loss. Is this sustainable long term? Yeah,
that's actually the first thing I said to my client. I said, do you plan on doing this for the rest of your life? And she said, no, just 30 days. I said, well, then I don't understand. Explain to me the point of a 30-day. It doesn't make sense.
Right. So, like I said, the real cost of these programs isn't just a lot of time and a lot of money, but you're actually getting yourself deep into some health issues that you may not be aware of from the start. And, we talked about one of those things being that metabolism drop.
Yeah.
Drop, and it's very hard if you're doing that for a long period of time, you're crash dieting, to get and build that back up. And then you're also, getting yourself, these things. I lost my train of thought, but there's a real cost to going on these programs, and it's not just money, but you are spending a lot of money for results that aren't going to last and aren't going to stick around. So yeah, you really need to think about the sustainability of what these programs offer. And, if you want quick results, this isn't sexy, but following specific habits consistently, I promise you, is going to get you to where you want to be faster. And not only that, but you'll be able to stay there long term.
Right.
And you'll be, you're going to be on a constant hamster wheel going after all these fad diets, looking for that quick fix, when the quick fix is literally right in front of you. If you would just do a few things consistently
over time.
And, so we'll get into like some of the key things that people are missing from long-term fat loss results. We had talked about this earlier. I said there's 3 things that I kind of think people need if they want results and they want to sustain them. Here's the problem. Most of these programs are not teaching you sustainability. And the things they're doing, the methods that they're having you do are not sustainable.
They're not sustainable
at
You
all.
couldn't do it long term.
You could not do it long
I don't
term.
know what would have happened to my client if she stayed on this for months and months and months.
Yeah.
What
I mean,
would happen?
like I said, it'll work for a little bit, and that's it, but it doesn't really work if you're just going to end up right back to where you started, if not worse. By
Right.
the way, like you mentioned earlier, we don't just have to worry about like having weight being put back on, but more eating disorder, fear of food.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
All the mental aspects, in physical muscle loss. So it's not just put the weight back on, but what is that doing to your mental state? Like
Right.
doing these things and buying these supplements and doing all this. So the first thing that we talked about is, as far as what people are missing, is, good coaching and accountability.
Yes.
I told you before we hopped on here, is I have literally had a coach in either business or my fitness, and most of the time both, for the last 10 years. And to me, that's been a life changer and a game changer. Coaches need coaches.
Definitely.
I want somebody on the other end. And originally, this is how I learned. All I know now is I hired a really good coach. So do your research, of course, because there are bad coaches.
There's bad coaches too, yeah.
But do your research, and that was life-changing for me. And to this day, I always have somebody on the other side of me, whether it's my business or my fitness, doing taking the guesswork out for me, and just somebody that's reliable, somebody that is, I'm always learning new things, and how to be a better coach in this industry and help clients and people from doing these things and wasting their money on stuff that's not going to work. So accountability, I know, has been important for you as well.
Yes, very much so. As you know, you've been my coach for at least 6 months now. And I deal with some emotional things, some depression and things like that. It's been a rough year, to say the least.
I tell you.
Yeah, if I didn't have that accountability myself, I can tend to stop doing what I need to be doing, because it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
It's worth it. So
exactly. Yeah. And then I think the second thing is, like you talked about, the foundational habits: sleep, water, movement, protein.
Protein, yeah.
If you want to add to any of that, but just basic foundational habits that are not sexy for me to sit here and tell you these things. But I just want to shake people. Like, this is what works. This is consistent habits. Done.
Yeah, it's consistency, and I like what you teach too, which I totally agree with, which is this: at the end of your week, everything just balances out. I like to put my clients on a little bit of a flexible schedule, so that some days maybe they'll have a little less, that's okay, and some days they'll have a little more, as long as it balances out in the end. You got to be able to live it. We talk about this a lot. The only diet or fitness program that works is the one that you'll do.
Yes.
Consistently. Forever.
Drop the mic. That's all I need to say. That's drop the mic. And we live in a world now of extreme.
Yes.
To be extreme on all these ends. And it's like people just starting out, or if you're consistent with these foundational things for a long period of time, it then becomes easy. It becomes simple. I shouldn't say easy. It becomes simple.
Simple is not always easy. Yeah.
Simple is not always easy, but it becomes simple. Like it's really simple for me to stay lean year round, because I have these habits, and I'm this type of person, because along the way I've developed these things that I do. And by no means, people think I'm so extreme with just based on, I guess, an outward appearance or whatever. It's like, I do the same stuff that I preach to my clients, just I do it consistently, and I'm not perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I don't beat myself up if I'm not perfect. And that's the thing, is consistency doesn't mean that you have to do all these things like all the time. It just means when you get off track, who can be the quickest to get back on? That's consistency. Like if I take a week off on purpose or whatever, I'm dealing with a depressive state, is like I just always know that I'll get back on like really soon.
Yep.
Or, if I just, most people, that's their ticket, right? That's their key, is like when they F up, or when they set a plan and they don't necessarily follow it, or they think they have to be extreme. And that's why this is what these programs are doing to people.
I think that's it. I think it's the extremes.
Yeah. Is
like you were saying, that sounds sexy. I'm on a specific diet. It's called this and it's endorsed by this person, rather than saying, oh, well, I just cut my calories by 250 a day.
I'm just in a little calorie deficit. I'm
really exciting.
So that's why people think that in order to get the results you want from a fat loss standpoint or a physique standpoint or even a health standpoint, is that, oh, I have to go on a diet. You don't. Like, stop dieting, like start living a lifestyle. And then you don't have to be miserable. I mean, I had pizza yesterday.
Me too.
Still fine. I'm good. Like,
I know. Didn't do anything.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You have to make changes from where you're currently at to get where you want to be. But you have to also know that it's not short-term changes you have to make. You have to make lifestyle changes that you're going to do continuously. And I don't know what that is for you, not you, but people. I don't know what that is. What you're currently doing. Change one thing, start small and build on that. So that's, the foundational habits consistently are, and well, it's free, you guys.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay, like, seriously, you don't have to pay anything to like drink water and try to get better sleep and move more. Like, if you want me to charge you for that, like, I will. You can pay me $400 a month to give you the actual like secrets of what it takes to lose that. But you can take that for free and run with it. So accountability, foundational habits, and then the last thing was realistic expectations. And that is another thing that these companies or these diets, these programs are falsely representing the expectations. And thank you to like shows like The Biggest Loser are also giving super unrealistic expectations. And now people have it in their heads that, oh, if I don't lose 10 pounds in a week or 20 pounds in a week, then I'm a failure and whatever I'm doing is not working.
Yeah, that is huge.
And that's the expectations you have to have going in. You did not get to where you're at overnight.
Right.
So you can elaborate on that a little bit, Kim.
Yeah, no, it's funny. That's my one client was doing really well with her fat loss. But to her, she thought it's not good. It's less than a pound a week. It's 3/4 of a pound a week. I'm like, that's perfect. That's great because that's sustainable. I want you to stick with it. I always taught my clients the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time you stick perfectly to the program, 20% of the time, or you can do 90 and 10. You can go a little bit off. I mean, it's not eat an entire pizza, but it's have a slice of pizza. If that's your thing, that's okay. We can fit all that in there. We can fit all that in there, because if we don't fit it in there, you're not going to stick with it. You're going to go off the program. We still want to live in the real world. I mean, that's my whole company motto: fitness in real life, living life in the real world. Because I see it. I see the extreme. I've done the extremes. I had the eating disorder, and then I had orthorexia, where everything had to be organic, and and you think gluten-free obviously does not mean weight loss or less calories. Clean eating, if you're still overeating, you're still not going to lose the fat. All these trends, just aren't working. It's just the simple, everyday, day in, day out, kind of boring.
It's the boring stuff. And that's, people are trying to compare themselves to, say, like high-level athletes or bodybuilders or people in the fitness industry that make a living doing what they're doing, and that have to be a little, more extreme in their lifestyle and whatever the case may be. When it's like, that's not real life. Like you said, this fitness in real life, like the real world is, you're not going to, stick to a meal plan. Like, everybody thinks they want like, I want a meal plan. No, you don't, because at the first, sign of an office party,
Yeah.
you go off your plan and then you think you're a failure. And then it's like, oh, I'm a failure. And then you quit. And then it's like, that's not, you need to learn how to incorporate these habits that we're talking about into your life, but also not give up everything along the way.
Right.
And
be patient.
And patience and expectation. So if people ask, like, what should the expectation be in terms of fat loss? I always tell them, if you're averaging, that you have to stop looking at the day to day, and you have to even stop, if you're averaging a half pound to 2 pounds a week in that range at all. But sometimes you have to look at all the other factors. Like, what are you gaining? Were you consistent with those habits? Like, that's improvement. Are your measurements improvement? Are you feeling energy? Are you sleeping better? Like, you can't just put all your chips in on the scale, because there's going to be a lot of fluctuations along the way. So that's why I look at a period over time. And the unfortunate thing is, most people aren't willing to stick to something long enough to know if it's working or not. And they're going to see, which they may in fact be progressing from a fat loss standpoint, but that scale may say something different. So then they give up too early. Or they just have these expectations that they should be further along than where they are. And then they also get frustrated. So people overlook progress by unrealistic expectations, when it's like, there are so many other forms of progress. I mean, I've had people work with me and barely lose any weight, but Jesus, they look so different because we're training correctly now. And we'll talk about workout programs that people are doing a different day. We won't go into that kind of stuff, since we're talking about diets and all these things, but
that is a whole other topic.
The expectations, you need to go in with the expectations that I'm going to make changes, and I'm going to become a person that, I'm going to become this fit and healthy person. What does a fit and healthy person do on a day-to-day basis? And become that person before you're even there.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Do you have any last comments or anything? This was great. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, this is fun.
Hopefully everyone, if you got some value out of this, like, share it. I know Kim's going to give her audience this interview as well. Please share this, because we really are trying to just help people get out of these types of programs that you're wasting your money, you're wasting your time on, and you don't have to sign up with either one of us by any means. But if we can just help people stop with the industry fads and BS, like, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, starting off in the health coaching industry first, and being so worried about people's health, that's where I started. I still am. I always tell my clients, I could put you on the Twinkie diet. You know what I mean? You can lose weight eating Twinkies all day.
It's been proven. I mean,
healthy.
Yeah.
But I think what you and I, where we are in agreement on, is teaching people, educating them, so that they do everything in a healthy way. So they don't get taken, first of all.
Yeah.
They don't hurt themselves, second of all. And thirdly, so that they see results. And like you were saying, transformation isn't always even about the scale or physically. I see so much transformation in clients, just mentally, emotionally, that strength that comes from, sticking to a program and doing it. And just that they're sleeping, emotionally, they feel amazing. All that is part of it. And that gets overlooked when we just focus on the body,
Yep, absolutely. So cool. This was awesome. We will have to do this again on several different topics. So I think we mesh well together. All right, guys, if you have any other questions that we can come back around and answer, just put them in the comments. I'm not even seeing this on Facebook because I turned my thing off. So if you have any questions, comments, or just share it. Just share so other people so we can get our message out there a little bit more. And we would really appreciate that. So awesome. We will see you soon.
Yep. Thanks, Abby.
All right. Stop.